issues for Savage in that series for Talon as well. We'll see. We are getting all chat just a little bit to have fun to everyone. That's all we're getting. As again, this is almost like a Kukui's match. Wait, our
translating,
Mac,
John.
He says, Mac, I'll hack your Instagram here if you do good here. He'll reveal the Instagram. He'll take his Insta away. If he does
out
too
more
good.
yarn?
Yeah, and Mac is like, do it, bring it out. I don't think, you know, these guys. There's always something going on, Mikey. These streamers.
Do you have? I don't even have an Instagram, dude. I just feel too old for that crap. Do you?
I am too old for it. I do, but
What's
I mainly
wrong
use
with
it to
you?
just look at my mom. I use it to look at my mom posting pictures from her trip. That's it. My mom and sister post there. That's it.
She
I don't
can't
really
just
do anything with it.
She can't send you the photos directly, John. Just has to be on
What, I'm gonna
Instagram.
tell my mom to stop having fun just because I don't like Instagram, Mikey?
Oh.
Am I that cruel? It's like, hey, stop posting on Instagram. No, I'll just look at them there.
I
It's
would
like,
be.
It's fine. You're a
I would
sad
be.
man, Michael Phoenix. You're a sad man. You
Two
can't
for
let
two.
people enjoy themselves. Let them enjoy themselves. Let Akashi enjoy himself. He wants to play tiny and struggle a bit. Let him be. So be it.
Shout out to
Such is life.
Shout out to you, Mrs. Fernandez. I'm sure your photos are absolutely fantastic. Just, the platform is what I have a problem with. In case you're wondering, nothing against your mother's photos, Jonathan. In fact, that sounded a lot worse than it should have. My apologies. Nothing wrong with her Instagram photos, John. In fact, I might just stop talking about your mum at this point. John Midlane, Mac and Armel going at it. My apologies. My goodness.
This matchup should be a lot better than whatever you were saying there, Mikey. This should be pretty good for Mac, but it shouldn't be too bad for Armel. This is a little bit playable, actually, for Storm nowadays, because you have static slide. So you're not walking up for the Remnant. You can hang back. You're not under full threat of the Siphon. The damage on Crypt Swarm is pretty high, though, as it has been buffed up. So Mac does have play. Both sides will have play. It's going to be a pretty heavy farm lane. Up top, you do have the lane shenanigans we were expecting from Tim's, because he is a Slark. He's not going to have impact level 1, not even with Iron Shell. You need like level 2 Iron Shell here from Jabs. So you pull. You pull and you farm and you soak the XP. And Eris is going to make, just poke back, but can't really do too much either as a level 1 Mirana, especially since he did opt for that level 1 Starstorm.
Oh, so annoying.
He's just going to get chased down a bit.
So annoying. Just getting chased down, constantly taking Iron Shell damage, and this is just the start as well. Once you hit that level 2, level 3 mark, things get really disgusting. Particularly level 3, of course, for Jabs is going to be the one that makes things really revolting to have to go up against. And this is something Boom run over and over again. Like, every time we see Pos 4 Slark, we should just assume it's going to be an offlane Darkseer with it. Because it most of the time is, if Darkseer is just not banned. How's the bottom lane? Jing and Raven. They're going to be up against Jackie and, of course, Zhao. This could be a high kill lane as well. I imagine Nemesis could be pretty aggressive here in this bottom lane, but they're going to need a few levels up first.
They will. I'd say it's a higher kill lane if you had Jing on Mirana, right? You have X set up, you have Torrent follow through for the arrow. You could make some players more magical damage there. With a Lion on hand, it's a little bit more passive, I'd argue. It's not as offensive. You are a little bit more threatened by, say, the Fire Spirits here from Zhao. And Jackie always has that threat of turning around with meta as well. So it's going to lead to a very stable lane of farm. I don't expect you to push the envelope here on Nemesis unless you someone get that setup stun, which you could. But Jackie shouldn't be making such big missteps either anyhow. So it should be static. That means most of her lanes are going to be static here. Mid lane matchup we're taking a look at, again, is ending up even. As it's not as bad for the Storm nowadays because of that static slide. So Armel is still able to get some semblance of farm. I mean, it's still better for Mac, but not by the bigger margins we used to see. This is still playable for a Storm. Rune control is very important. I would say the support rotations on Nemesis are a lot better, as you've got Mirana Lion. They can get there fast, especially that Mirana of Eris. And they can threaten for a kill into like the 4-minute mark, the 6-minute mark if you want to make those early rotations out. So that is something to watch out for. That could break a little bit of that monotony here, but beyond that, just static lanes. Tim's is still a nuisance, like you mentioned, though. I mean, just having Essence Shift is makes it brutal to try to trade level 1, and level 2 Iron Shell is up on Jab, so Eris has to be a bit cautious, especially with a pounce ready to go now in Tim's. If he does make that commitment, chances are a kill can follow quite fast.
Certainly can. Jeez, this mid lane looks really daunting right now for Armel. He's starting to get dived by Mac, who is going to kind of fall back. But this is that stage where the mid lane's going to feel just awful for Armel. Crypt Swarm's hurting quite a lot, of course, and one more would secure a kill. Eris might actually go for a leap Starstorm if Armel sticks around, but Armel, recognizing the danger, he will retreat. I believe he did see the rotations with that mid ward he did have, and Tim's is there just in case anyway. But so far, very good for Nemesis in the mid lane. Of course, this was kind of anticipated in fairness, because again, Mac does play a very good DP, and it is still a favorable matchup for him against the Storm. So not too surprised to see Mac pulling ahead.
Yeah, it shouldn't be. You do miss out on the pounce opportunity top. You want to connect that to get the double Iron Shell threat. Just going to lead to, again, more farm coming out for Akashi. He's had a pretty free lane. Like, without the Iron Shell threat, without that run-up potential from Tims and Jabs, he is just free farming. Akashi's top of the CS board, top of net worth early on. Still early days, of course, but that does set a good tone here for our Tiny. The timing into, say, the Echo Saber here shouldn't be too shabby. Level 6 time is going to be good as well. A little bit of aggression down bot, at the very least, but not enough damage to really look for the full kill. And that is the problem, therefore, not having Mirana. Like, Lion, in comparison, just isn't enough output, even with, say, Essence Eater. So, you can poke, you can shove away these supports, again, just win out lane. But not really threatening for kills, and if you're not dying, on Boom, you're pretty happy. Like, their cores do farm back fast, especially Jackie, as we always talk about with this guy. Even from a slower lane, he will recover quite quick. So you don't mind, as long as you're not bleeding out, you will just hold fine. 6-minute runes are coming out. Have the early movement out from Jing. No one committing on the side of Boom yet, and it's only a few seconds off. So it's another advantage for Mac, and he also has that level 6 ready to go. If he gets a good rune, it could be an easy chase down here.
Could be. Invis rune is going to be what Mac does pick up, which is still a pretty good rune, considering, you know, can make the rotations pretty easy for Mac. But for now, he's just going to pop the Exo with the Siege Creep. See if he wants to tank this creep wave underneath the tier 1 tower. Looks like the answer is going to be no, because Tims does show up, so they will deal with said Siege Creep. The push can continue, of course, though it will be a little bit less attractive here for Mac, but he is probably going to continue. And in fairness, there's not really too much Armel can do about this. And of course, Tims on the Pulse Full Slar can definitely do pretty much nothing about it. They will glyph up, and that's going to pretty much be it. Mac's going to run out of the exorcism duration. Half HP of the tower gone. That's pretty much all he gets. I don't think Boom are too concerned about it, but the thing is, Mac's probably going to do the exact same thing once it's off cooldown again. So it is probably going to be a pretty early mid tier 1 tower, as we do have a bit of a fight over the Shrine of Wisdom here between Zhao and Raven. Raven is not backing off. They've got more help incoming as well. Zhao has Jackie moving in, but it's just Jackie and Zhao versus the world, though Jackie apparently hitting very hard, is kind of winning that man fight right now, as Jing needs to get the hell out of there, and he eventually will, but they forget about the Shrine of Wisdom. Jackie, he's back in, and he gets it. He makes it just in the nick of time. And somehow, Eris and Jing both one right click away from dying, but they'll walk out of it.
Did I manage to bail out? I had an intrusive thought enter my mind as the stacks are being poked here by Tims. It occurred to me, Mike, this could be a ploy by Boom to not give Soul Collector charges to Mac. You don't find kills, that's fine. You don't get the superpowered exorcism, right? They're not finding kills either. That's why the first Exo doesn't siege hard. He's not playing with a facet. You're not playing with the superpowered Exo, so it kind of works. A passive game, again, not just a farming aspect, but even little things like this. You know, it's all part of El Plan, Mike. All part of El Plan.
Just don't tell Talon about it, John. Anyway, we could be here all night tomorrow night if you're not too careful with what you tell them. You tell them passive, they get very happy, John. Passive, boring. Nothing's happening, 2 hours, all those keywords for Talon, they get very excited. You can't mention those around Talon.
Oh, that is fair.
My apologies.
A little bit of movement top, at least.
They're lovely people, John. You know, they've done us some favors, you know?
Wait, you were... You went from defending them last game saying that we were actually fast because I was saying they're slow to going back to saying they're slow. I was the one calling them slow last game, and that was like 28 minutes. You were like, no, John, it was 28 minutes. You know, it was pretty quick.
Yeah, but you know,
here you go saying, yeah, but they're slow.
In fairness, you know, you're trying to look like you're the most unbiased caster, John, which we all know it's a fake act from you. Bottom lane, here we go. Zip in. Who are they? Oh, that's a nice wall. That's a nice wall setup from Jabs. He landed on 2. Hex is out from Jing though. Jing on the run. Tims will chase him down and does finish off the job. Meanwhile, apparently it's a 5v5 now. Everyone's made it down to the bottom. Mac is just destroying them though with the exorcism. Takes down Jackie. Looking for Armel now though. Armel has plenty of mana. Sunray through from Zhao is not doing too much at the moment, as it looks like Boom Esports looking to retreat. And they will do so, but not before they lose Jackie.
A nice find for the side of Nemesis. And you finally get some Spirit Collector stacks on Mac because of that. He has 2. He had 1 on that pop of the Exo. Now he has 2. It's getting up there, Mikey. Maybe more if you're not too careful on Armel, but he does have the mana. And I think the concerning thing for Boom, again, we are expecting them to play a farm game. That is just the nature of how, say, Jackie and Jabs operates. They do tend to wait for build-up. Although Jabs does have the early mech to play with, it's not really the launching point yet of that Darkseer. But you are, again, just looking to stall. You're going to use this Slark to find vision to prevent any smoke ganks into valuable targets. You're going to get build-up. My issue is Nemesis won't wait, because if you just hold out and just allow Mac to build into the Ags. We saw a little bit of that combination a while ago. The rum buff on DP while Exo is running, there's no damage to be found. You are not dying. Once the Ags is up, that's all you'll do as Eris.
Is going to leap away. Armel thinking about diving further, but would have been a pretty bad idea because here comes the cavalry now. Jing trying to get within range for a Hex. Not going to quite get there. Max got Exo back up in 20. So I imagine he's just going to stick in around the mid lane and probably start pressuring the mid-tier 1 tower again very soon. I mean, Boom Esports at the very least have found a lot of farm on all their cores apart from perhaps Armel's top lane, Akashi. It's in the middle of the Sahara Desert right now. John just completely alone. Nobody coming to help Akashi. He is gone.
Yeah. Again, they're making use of that space, and this is what Boom have to do. Get those isolated safe lane carries up top, where they always hang around to build up. Look at the wards they have. It's enabling all of this movement across the map. They have really nice deep wards from Tims. With the Slark, that's exactly all you want to be doing in the game early on. Getting max value already. Don't even need that aggressive ward in the further jungle, as Pashi's just making these movements obvious. You do have to watch out for that. And as again, the farm for Jackie doesn't take too long. The spikes for the side of Boom, while it does take time, they are getting that pacing out. Like one more ore item from Jabs, you should be set to go. And for the side of Nemesis, I mean, your own build-ups there. The full Atos from Raven isn't too far off. So there's some additional in the hold to play with. They have a massive creep wave to siege on bot to equalize map control here. Not fully committing for the siege, just Raven alone. But the stall away from Mac really is the concern. It's still, you know, around 1,400 gold. It's still a ways off, but again, this Ags timing on DP is when you really start to play on Nemesis. Mid will get sieged, and that is earlier than Nemesis, so that's a little bit of a blessing for Boom. And again, with the ward game they've had, they can maximize this quite nice. That top jungle, not very safe for Nemesis if you do decide to utilize that area.
I mean, my shock is the fact that Boom Esports are getting away with this. Like, they find the first mid-tier 1. Mac has Exo, but I guess the side lanes just haven't gone quite as well as he would have hoped, because they just don't seem to be able to group up and fight. In fairness, Akashi obviously can't do much as a +1 Tiny at the moment. Raven looks like he wants to farm at least to the Rod of Atos, which I believe he has up now, and there it is. But his farm has been a little bit lackluster as well on the Kunkka. The only guy really getting out of control is Mac on the DP, and as strong as Death Prophet is right now, he can't do it on his own. And so Boom Esports, surprisingly enough, even with that DP that's just farmed out of control, it doesn't really matter yet. Maybe once the Ags is up, though. It's almost there.
I think they're also just waiting for Moonlight as well, right? You don't have the levels in Eris to get that sneaky movement. They're trying with a smoke. It is a little bit challenging to get close.
Jackie's caught though. Earth Spike, boat, finger. It's all gonna land. Another great setup from the side of Nemesis as Jackie gets caught and the response is just not quick enough.
No, not quite. No,
in fact, more. Tim's also caught out, and a bit of a cherry on top here for Nemesis. And this is what I was kind of looking for from this side. Like, maybe perhaps you're right, just they need the Moonlight Shadow to get moving, but I think you just want to keep this aggression up. I just, with how farmed Mac is right now and how potent the DP is as a hero, it just doesn't really feel like there's any necessity to sit back and farm. Just run at them. They can't contest you.
Yeah, they have to keep going at this point. Sure, EXO is down, but DP with the full AG still rips towers apart really fast with some right clicks. So Mac should have that confidence. We'll just go for a little bit of a reset. Is out of mana. You want to make this action all happen away from Akashi, of course, which means playing down bot and mid, shoving those waves, taking care of those areas of the map, and they should start to get moving. A little bit of a movement out from Boom, though. Smoke of Armel and Zhao. Got the Kaya up on Armel. He does have a little bit more output for himself now as well. For Team Nemesis, I mean, they're kind of fragmented. Raven's in a little area by himself, and the rest of his team isn't really setting up to come in. They're just clearing stacks again with Mac. So they're missing out a little bit. Maybe if a commitment comes for the bot, they could try to flank angle in. Moonlight Shadows, 40 seconds away, Finger 40 seconds away as well. So without that burst, perhaps, again, without that movement advantage, you play it safe. It's just too much time. Jackie's free farming. He's number 2 in net worth now. He's recovered. The aura build-up again here from Boom is almost done. Jabs is very close to getting that full pipe up. Several components in, just lacking that, really, the gold recipe and the Tarask at that point.
Oh, zip in. Eris gonna be able to leap away quite easily here from Armel, who's been silenced up. Arrow will not land, thankfully, for Armel, but the Rod of Atos does. He's still okay, though. The mech coming in from Jabs will give him enough time to zip away. It just, Mac is so intimidating at the moment as the DP. So how quickly Armel just had to leave the building when he saw that DP moving onto him. Thankfully, for both sides, nobody actually gets taken out. Everyone will survive another day. Which I still think favors the side of Boom, but Akashi has been given plenty of time too, and he's actually caught up quite nicely in net worth now. Just about 70 gold behind Jackie on the Tiny. And as I said, Akashi is one of the players that I actually have faith in to play this damn Tiny hero.
Yeah, he's doing a great job. Yasha timing's gonna be on point. Keeping parity with Akashi is big. They tried to make a little bit of a movement onto Jing, but don't fully commit for that either on the Lion. So gonna have a pretty static game for the start of this series, but it shouldn't stay static long. Mac has a shield rune. He's not even gonna have to pop Exo for this, because again, you get the free spirits out anyhow. So it's like a mini Exo with your right-click speed with the power treads, and that should go. The blink timing for Mac is going to be the one thing that I think Boom might have to be really cautious about. That blink silence is just insane. The silence projectile is pretty damn fast. It did get buffed up from 1.2 to 1.4, so it's really quick, and you might not get the window there for Armel if it's like a very close range silence. So Mac does have some opportunities to make solo plays once that's fully done. We just need to see that come in. As, again, the auras are coming in for Boom. Jabs, Ring of Tarask, only about 600 gold away, and that's going to be full pipe afterwards. Jackie already has the Manta style, going for the Demon Seal next, just to have some presence out. With his hero, speed up that farming pace as well, with the illusions. And for Nemesis, again, you've gotten basically everything. Maybe the Spike-Boom Raven, if you're concerned about magic damage, could be helpful, especially up against Storm and Phoenix. SNY for Akashi. You're not waiting for this Tiny. That's out of the question. You're not waiting for Akashi at all. You need to make space for him, as the scan will save him, but they are looking to make a play here on Boom.
Not finding anything yet, but Tim's, I believe, has got a bit of an idea where Akashi is, now finds him. Flash taunts up. Akashi wants to take the fight. Not afraid at all by his own base, and well, Tim's will be okay to remove himself from there. And now Akashi's second in net worth. Only to his own DP. Should overtake Mac pretty soon as well. So SNY going to be up very soon for Akashi. Meanwhile, Jackie trying to farm his shards up. Armel's going to show up on the storm down bottom. They'll run into Jing. There could be a bit of a freebie onto the support line. Won't be able to find the big Kunkka kill they would have really liked on Raven, but they'll take what they get. Timms will secure that one for himself, and it seems like they'll go through the twin gates immediately. Jabs is there. They could hope to hunt down Akashi, but an immediate scan out will reveal Boom's position. And even if they were to find Akashi, I don't think they can actually kill him with just two. Not with just Timms and Jabs. Armel here as well. Maybe that would be enough, but even then I'm starting to get a little bit doubtful. They're looking though. There's Akashi. There's the prize they want. Smoke up though. They'll join Mac and Eris. So head down towards the mid lane. Boom Esports nowhere nearby where they're headed though. So it doesn't really seem like this will amount to any kind of fight to break out. Like they're TPing back up top, so it seems like they want to try and chase Boom up at this top left corner of the map. Tormentor is available. Boom are holding their ground around the Tormentor, waiting for somebody to pop up. They'll see Mac. Arrow though? Oh, Arrow's going to land on Jackie. They have found the TV. Can they save Jackie? He's alive for now with the Sunray. He'll get a chance to sunder, but he sunders nothing. What did he sunder? Jing's down. They'll jump in on Akashi now, trying to salvage the fight. They'll find the Tiny at the very least. Armel's still in a lot of danger though, probably going to fall, but gets a zip away. It's just not going to matter. He will drop. Still going though is Timms, who is going to be able to pick off Eris. But they've lost Zhao, and now they'll lose the Slark as well. A triple kill for Mac. The lone survivor being Jabs on the Darks here. I'm not sure what Jackie's son in the middle of that team fight, but it wasn't the right target.
No, it's certainly not. And we've seen that happen, I believe, in the Tech Free and Trailer Park Boys series, where it happens that the Terrorblades accidentally sunder their illusions. It almost felt like that's what Jackie did, because his HP stayed the same, almost, if not slightly lower. So just not able to get the angle out, not able to get the proper click off. I was so curious about Nemesis as well. That was such a weird movement from the smoke. Like, it would have been maybe a bit cleaner if they just ran straight to Tormentor. If you do see the replay again, they scanned into this area nicely. They take their time to walk in. They get all that control, and
oh, it was
okay, he was
illusion.
Proportionally the same with a. It's either his. It was either his illusion.
It's either
or
Akashi. Yeah.
Yeah, they were the same HP.
Either
so
one.
It doesn't do much.
No.
Oh, that's painful.
I mean, mind you, it's a pretty impossible sunder to find in the middle of that team fight where you're surrounded. But I think the most unfortunate part about that whole fight for Boom was the fact that the rogue arrow connected on Jackie to start.
Yeah.
Because there's no way that Nemesis don't just rush for the fight as soon as they know exactly where the enemy pos 1 is.
Yeah. And that, again, the arrow lands on smoke as well, so you had to wait for Jing to walk up to break it, and you have to have just run up in that little window of vision. They do manage to get that. They still clear out Tormentor somehow on the side of Boom, as the side of Nemesis don't quite walk into the area again. But they do have a little bit of a bigger objective for themselves. Roshan with an amp damage on Mac. This does not take too long. And the side of Boom are very far to try to pick that up. Again, the Tormentor take lets them know they're all the way up north. So a bit of a freebie, another big objective for the side of Nemesis. And Boom, this is not the kind of trade you'd want. 2 lives on Mac. It doesn't even feel like you can take care of the first. This DP is going to have a BKB relatively soon here as well. And it's going to be the DP show for quite a fair bit. At least until you get more durability out. And to be fair to Boom, in that last fight, that was already the aura's up. Pipe is up on Jabs. He's got the mech. Maybe you could argue Guardian Greaves would be better, but it's not the biggest of difference. The extra armor can be nice. It does feel like for Nemesis, so like again, like you said earlier, Mike, they can't really sit back and relax, right? Because the scaling for Jackie is there. If Jackie farms in for the Scotty timing, things start to get pretty awkward. If you start to get into, say, a BKB for Armel, suddenly your hold for the Storm disappears. So many things can go wrong in a slower game for Nemesis. They have to pressure. They have to use these 2 lives. They have to find some tier 2s here. Maybe even threaten the high ground a little bit.
Do something. The thing is, Akash though, he's found himself top of the net worth board on this Tiny. As much as I've been memeing, John, there does come a point where this hero becomes a huge problem. I mean, I still feel like the TB will outscale once maybe Scardy's up, which he is working towards now. But there is going to be another smoke from Nemesis on the hunt once again. They'll connect with Mac.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
BKB now up by Kashi as well.
Jackie?
Zhao will get caught.
Oh.
No escape for him. They won't find anything else out of this. But with the Aegis up for another 3 minutes, they should at least be able to focus a tier 2 tower or 2. Maybe even think about a tier 3. As they are going to spawn out Jing. Jing's going to be fine though, because Tim's the one to actually get caught out, but he will use himself up to avoid the torrent. They'll move in after the Tiny now. Akashi's still perfectly fine. He's actually taking barely any damage here from Jackie. Jackie's just tickling him. Sunder to save Jabs, but now you're having your TB to really fight this one out, so Jabs is still going to die anyway. That's kind of what I was just saying, John, is there's no damage right now. Like, Jackie was hitting Akashi and nothing happened. There's a big stun and a big torrent onto 3. Oh, that fight's over. Max triple kill here on the DP. Tips out for Jing with a massive ravage from the Lion. And as I was trying to say, is Akashi's not taking any damage at this point. He's got level 3 grow up. Jackie hit him about 10 times and nothing happened.
No.
He took no damage.
Listen, it's like you said, it's like we've been talking about. He needs the Scotty. Even the Scotty at this point, you probably need a Daedalus. Or actually, it might be a little bit smarter for a Revenant Scrooge, oddly enough, because of the way Tiny gets armor. You might be better off with just some magic damage crits here. And I don't know if that's really a realistic consideration for Jackie later on. They hold on to the Aegis, and it's so funny to see that because I remember, like, what, maybe last year doing some community casts with Armel. He used to throw on Jing. Like, they were already friends, but he throws shade on Jing, saying that Jing can't play ranged supports. Well, he certainly changes that now a year later with his line performance. He has been on point. He's been landing these stuns. He's been setting up, and you can't stop this durability. Again, it's boat buff, it's Tiny with Grow, it's Tiny with a Craggy, it's Mac with all the sustain in the world. He didn't even need to pop the BKB in the last engagement, Mike. It's still up. It's still 9 seconds here for our DP.
It sure is. Mac has had a very clean game on this Death Prophet. Oh, and they're going to maybe find more. Tim's forces Shadow Dance to get away from Akashi. The 1 racks up now is the side of Nemesis, and geez, it's hard to see them slowing down anytime soon, I'll tell you what, because it's just they need so much on Boom to actually have enough to deal with a 5-on-5. They're going to smoke up and chase. Akashi's there already, though, catching out Tims. Tims is down, and now they've got Armel hexed up as well. Armel is gone. Jackie doesn't know what to do with himself right now as they try to abuse the egg of Zhao, but it's just, again, not doing enough. You're just denying area right now. His Jabs is melting. Jabs will die. And Jackie's a sitting duck at this point. He does at least find Jing, but that's a support Lion. Jackie tossed up. Jackie is going to get a Sunder, and he's going to continue trying to fight. In fact, Akashi will die. So he does get a nice kill for himself. Now here comes Armel with a buyback to try and get something else for his team. Max on a triple in the meantime. Oh, no. Armel sarged again. This could be a dieback for Armel, though he will make it.
Oh, would have been really dicey with that dieback for Armel. Still, the buyback doesn't feel worthwhile. He doesn't really find anything extra that stalls out his BKB timing now with that full commitment on the Storm. He does at least maybe soak up a little bit, but not much, as he actually soaks up, I guess, the Akashi kill just a tad bit. So There is that, although I do believe he was TPing in when that did happen. So again, the value is a little bit lackluster for the side of Boom. For Nemesis, this durability is just insane. This tricore they have, when the boat buff is up, we are seeing some durability from Boom. And full Guardian Greaves, full pipe out from Jabs is doing some work, but the damage has to come in from Jackie. And for Jackie, the Scotty's one thing. Him going for a BKB as well, I think is excessive. It's too defensive. Like, you need some damage. Again, just pick up the Chrysalis or a Butterfly if you really feel the need to. Either or, as a solution for the damage, start to rip into them. Because right now, nothing is. In fact, it might actually be Jab's illusions that are doing a little bit more here from the wall. That might be the bigger threat than the Terrorblade at this point, which is not particularly good news. Another smoke out, Nemesis. EXO is back up, one team fight away, and they could try high ground again.
Here we go. Jump in. They've already found Jao. The Phoenix bursted down with a nice finger from Jing and Jackie. Oh, God. It's getting worse here for Boom. Props to Nemesis, Jonathan. A very clean game won thus far. Not saying the game's over yet, but it's surely starting to feel like it. If not already is. Well, there goes your mid tier 2 tower. They have a bit of time to get at least a tier 3 into a Rax. Though Mac jumps the gun a little bit, but it won't matter because he's got a big Akashi Tiny here. And that'll be a tier 3 at least.
Yeah, maybe you can start with a back wall combo with the respawn on Zhao. Something has to happen. You can't just allow this to happen. It's endgame if this is just gone for free.
Oh, jump in on Jabs. Very, very messy. He will survive a little bit, but not for long, as I think they're about to call it here. I think you might think about starting to call it. It's very, very, very split up here, Boom. They won't. They're going to hold out, but they'll buy back on Jabs for nothing. There'll be a dieback on Armel. Roshan's going to be spawning up sometime soon too, to make matters worse for Boom.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, that was the only angle he had. It's not like Jabs has a blink, so he literally has to run in, and that was just the easiest counter fight for Nemesis. Like, they have no concerns. Like, there's no clean initiation outside of, like, Armel having to put his body forward, hope that he can pop BKB and not get stunned, which he couldn't do in the last fight as well. Nemesis are not going to wait for that, Roche. Just going to go hunt a tier 2 into the high ground. Yeah, there's no fear.
There's no need to sit back and relax here. They've got everything there. Oh, and the Croaker!
That's nasty! Oi.
The Croaker! Well, these damn they got no chill, dude. These Croakers, man.
No.
Just as
MVP
soon as they see 3 heroes, they're just like, you're stunned. That's it. Ravage. Enjoy.
Yeah. MVP of that fight.
Oh, Jackie.
Oh, no. Yeah, this is it.
I mean, the game's over. I mean,
yeah, it's done.
We can try to hype up that death. The game's over. Nemesis game 1 will go their way in quite dominant fashion. 8-25. 32 minutes in.
Boom. They have to play push. They have to play push and take map space because your Sven and Terrorblade will be farming. And if you don't manage to take that farm space early when you have a Leshrac and a Shadow Shaman, you start to feel a little bit doubtful about your tempo. And that's always a concern. Nemesis, they don't play slow. They play pretty damn fast Dota here.
They sure do. It'd be an interesting game number 2. Again, Boom backs against the wall, trying not to get knocked down to the lower bracket if they can avoid it. Nemesis 1 game away from getting through to the upper bracket semi-finals, which would be a very nice feeling for them because there's not too many days left of this road to the international qualifiers for SCA. Definitely gives yourself a nice shortcut through the playoffs if you can just win out this game. Wonder how they're going to make this draft work as well for Boom, because it feels like a lot of pressure on Armel this game, on this Leshrac to really perform. I don't know if he's going to really be able to play with this Shaman Slark combination either. It's going to be pretty interesting to see how they make this one work, Boom.
Yeah.
It does feel like as well, if Armel kind of loses the mid lane or falls apart in this Leshrac, the whole draft itself could just fall apart for Boom Esports.
And it can. And it's rather interesting to see Leshrac into Bondage Quap, right? Because of the spell damage return. Considering that you went for Misanthropy here on Armel, if you do get the rundown, once Quap gets the Blade Mail, you're just going to melt 2 Mac running in anyhow. So that is something to be considered about. The Misanthropy does allow him to pressure early and does allow him to take fights. It doesn't allow him to push objectives, so that pressure is more on Zhao to get some fast levels up, which, asking from pause 5, not really the easiest thing. The mid lane matchup at the very least here is playable. It's good old Lesh, of course. You throw out the Lightning Storm, you're fine. You're going to CS just fine as well. You shouldn't be too much pressure from Mac. Mac also, because it's Bondage Quap, is going to go all in on Shadow Strike and try to poke as hard as possible, which means a little bit of a lapse in like clearing out the creep wave with Scream of Pain that we used to see. So it's a little bit slower in that sense. You are much more focused on mid lane pressure, and we'll have to see if that pays off for Mac. It has felt a little bit slow for Quaps in general because of this new build coming in. At least it's not as fast as the old one. Rune control is going to be nice and important for both sides. And again, the threat here from the Nemesis supports do feel higher, I will say, because you have a Mirana, you have a Rubik, you have much more straightforward control than it is for Boom. Like the Shadow Shaman's stable, the Slark really is the thing that just doesn't give you a lot of presence early, even for runes. Tim's again has shown us he can play that Slark fine, but whether or not it helps at a 4-minute rune, 6-minute rune, we'll have to see. Top lane, just a quick shove in. Lane combination for Raven isn't particularly amazing, as there isn't really much to get out there right now. It's a Darkseer with a Rubik. You don't really have an Iron Shell connection. So that threat is at least removed for Jackie. He should be free farming here, and he is. You'd expect this to be a little bit threatening for kills as well as the levels go up. Doubled stun, nothing to really scoff at. As long as Jing maybe uses that telekinesis early, it does get a little bit awkward for you to try and stop it on Nemesis, but I don't see Jing making that mistake anytime soon. Again, very, very static top unless someone oversteps their bounds. The last lane down, Bont, is also fairly passive. I mean, you do have like an Avalanche toss later on to connect with Eris for Akashi. At the same time, will you really invest in something like toss here for Akashi? Probably not. That's a pause 1. You can magically poke out quite hard in Eris just with a Storm though. And that is something that will cause a little bit of a nuisance here for Jabs. But you also don't have any synergy with the Slark. Like maybe if he gets a pounce with Metamorphosis up, you could try something. You could use Reflection to slow down for a pounce, but neither one sounds particularly appetizing as up top.
But they are going in. Very low on Raven. Shackles will hold him down. He will have some stick charges though to be able to walk out of there. So the aggression starting to ramp up the top lane here between Zhao and Jackie. They're not really panning out to a kill yet, but they do keep Jing and Raven both nice and low in HP. Zhao now trying to abuse it as they do move in once again with a stun out from Jackie, looking for shackles for Zhao, but he's unable to close the gap. And so everyone going to be fine top lane. Meanwhile, mid, it seems like Armel is being forced to run back to the fountain. So the Quap with that level 2 Shadow Strike starting to get a bit too much for the Leshrac to contest. Armel's still ahead in CS, so it's not the worst deal in the world, but Mac finding a way to create some space for himself here in the mid lane.
And it's a bit surprising he walks back.
He's all right.
I mean, the timing's just a little bit awkward because Water Runes just came up. So Mac's going to get refilled anyhow. You surrender Water Rune control, and he's going to be fully topped up.
Raven will finally get caught out here. Jackie finding first blood gold as well, so he's a very happy carry at the moment. And, well, there's not much he can do at this stage. Like, you've got the stun plus the shackle combo. If Jing's not around to cancel the shackles, you are just as good as dead.
And they make good use of that information over the Cursed Scuffles over the mid. Just a little bit of emphasis out on 4-minute Water Runes there. Does cost them top. And that's a nice way of starting, but you're still suffering on Armel. And he denied off the Water Rune. He has a fully topped up bottle. The level 3 Shadow Strikes from Mac are starting to cause issues here for the Lesh. Again, that launching point has to be that Leshrac as well. So you don't want to have to see the slow start, but it's the way the matchup's going. You are finding CS, but Mac doesn't really care about that. He just cares about making it hellish.
Well, Jab's getting quite low now on the bottom lane. Be okay to retreat. Meanwhile, top, they are going again. This time on Jing. Jing, Fairy Fire up. Telekinesis on Jackie. One more hit will find the kill, and he actually runs back. Or did they plan a tree, did they?
Yeah. Right in front.
Very nice.
That might have been... I'm not sure if that was them or it was Jing. It looked like he was much more far ahead. Perhaps with the cast range. Could have been them as well. Yeah, they do have enough, so good little entrapment. And they are winning out hard top, which is what you want to see here. The Sven does go up tempo fast. You've got that start built up for Jack. He's got an immense amount of denies as well, slowing down Raven's gain in terms of just EXP, which is really an important factor for the Darkseer. Power runes coming in. Lucky for Mac. Just a little bit of an invis again. Initial rune control is nice. And we're seeing Armel walk all the way back to base again. I mean, it's just not a good time on mid. These sacrifices you're making for top should pay off, but certainly not fun to see your Leshrac just constantly TPing in 2 times over now.
No, absolutely not. He's still keeping up farm parity with Mac quite well, at least here on Armel, but it's certainly not spelling good news for the XP department, as he has fallen 1 level behind. You are kind of relying on this Leshrac to carry you through the mid-game of Boom Esports. Bottom lane, they are pretty deep here, Akashi and Eris. It's like Armel, considering trying to connect, might even just go for the stacks instead while he's here. So Akashi has no fear on this Tiny of any kind of rotation. And rightfully so, because Armel is indeed just taking stacks. It's a bit of catch-up farm for Armel. No threat for Akashi.
Just a little bit
It is
passive.
definitely a very passive game. That is correct, John.
Yeah, you just want that build up. Again, the most action we've gotten is top because they're finding punishment, but with Raft of Gloom,
A big Sonic Wave though, Mac. At least catching Tims, and that'll be a bottom tier 1 tower to go down. Quick little rotation from Mac, certainly paying off as he does claim the kill onto Tims, and well, he's a quap, John. He can just go right back to the mid lane and get back to work. Keep in mind as well, Armel went for the misanthropy. I cannot pronounce that very well, which means he can't take towers very effectively with Edict.
no.
As they are going to jump the Darks here, Raven does go down. So nice little rotation now from Armel as well.
And they can try to steal out these stacks. A little bit more time on God's Strength. Not going to fully commit, at least. So they will show some respect. So you don't lose too much. I mean, at this point, losing Raven doesn't account for much. Look, the gold gain they're getting from this kill, it's almost like you're finding a support. Barely worth more than Tim's. So you honestly don't mind on the side of Nemesis, as long as it's not like Mac or Akashi at this point. For the side of Boom, though, again, it's a good start. We asked for better lanes. This is actually better lanes coming in, even though it doesn't feel that great losing your tier 1 bot, but this is actually a better laning start for them. So they have rectified a little bit from game 1. The key thing now for them is to keep securing that farm, although
Gonna find themselves Eris here on the Mirana. A nice little pickup as they are going to move into that top tier 1 tower. Boom Esports, Serpent Wards dropped, should be able to make quick work of this one. It's a much better game, I must say, as well for Jackie here on the Sven. Net worth already, no struggles whatsoever. So he will look to retreat. The one main concern right now for me when it comes to Boom is probably Armel not having the best laning stage, but he's still ahead of the co-op, all things being said and done when it comes to net worth. So I guess in some sense it's not that bad. I just find that Leshracs tend to have a little bit less influence without that farm than, say, a co-op that can still be pretty useful.
that they do. Mind you, I think there's a little bit of a niche here where Nihilism could do a lot of work. Like, say, the Ags upgrade on Armel could be one way to hinder out the damage coming in from Nemesis later on, from the right clicks, even from the illusions as well. So there is value for that. It's just not something I expect early, but there are ways to keep that presence out.
Sunder, Jabs trying to TP away, but a nice avalanche from Akashi. Sonic Wave out, from Mac. That's going to be a very important pick-off now onto Jabs, who almost got away, but not quite. Meanwhile, mid lane, chase on for Jing. Jing does get in the tree line, but is hexed up here and he will eventually get caught, as Armel will claim a life across the map. Certainly, though, a much more favorable trade for Nemesis.
And it is. They find a bigger offlane kill, which, you know, both offlanes not having the best of games right now. Raven and Jabs kind of struggling in net worth, although Fair not too far behind the mids.
Ooh. Nice shackle.
Mac.
Zhao, he's going to find that primary target in Mac. Very, very cheeky sneak in here from Zhao. They will take Zhao out in the end, but he'll be more than happy to trade his life away for the mid-Mac Quap, and, well, boom, they'll get away with murder this time. Happy days.
That's a big kill they were looking for, that we've been all looking for. They needed to do something about the Quap spacing. This does increase that gap between Mac and Armel ever so slightly. I think both sides, though, overall, if you think about it, you're happy enough finding farm in these pause ones. Happier so on Boom. Like you were saying earlier, Mike, Jackie's had a fantastic game. Massive Madness up, Echo Saber next, into the BKB Blink. And once you have at least one of the next two, like the BKB or the Blink, you should be set to start employing that advantage. Because most of that gold and this advantage right now from Boom is really just on Jackie. So just a little bit more time necessary for Nemesis. They're the ones with a little bit less guidance in what they'd want to do, right? Like, Akashi still needs way more farm than even the Sven will. There's still a little bit more that you need to work on. They're starting to play into a lot of these wards as well with a little bit of a siege down bot. They're trying to sneak around with a smoke. They do have Moonlight Shadow ready as well. Armel?
Yeah, pick off, they can find Armel, but not quite. They had Moonlight Shadow as well, but I guess just not worth popping yet. So I'm not going to show mid. Maybe now it's worth using, and they do immediately. Rush forward here. They really want that Leshrac kill. Tim's going to be around, so they might just settle for the Slark instead, and it seems like they will. Just go for the easier kill instead. Go into that mid-tier 1 tower. Though I must say, I mean, if you're Nemesis, you might be getting somewhat concerned, because Jackie's farm pace is a little bit too fast at the moment. Stun out on Eris, not really going to lock him down, as he does get the leap away. And they do indeed lose that mid-tier 1 tower. But I do wonder what kind of concern they have here for this Sven, because he has been missing for a while.
And he has. I'm surprised no one from Nemesis are making rotations up top. Right? Like, we've seen this multiple times before. You take that tier 1 top, the carry always stays in that area. You can't just hunt down and punish Jackie. Doesn't happen this time around. And again, there's room for the Sven to get into the trifecta of items with the BKB lining up next, or the Blink for Jackie. It is dangerous. Like, there is no direct way of stopping that damage from the Sven. The the mech and, say, the Crimson Guard in this game doesn't do as much against the cleave damage.
Well, they might have Raven here. They just need to get in for the Hex Shackle. Zhao, smoke broken. He's not going to get within range. But unfortunate. They'll miss out on Raven. So boom, you can tell how confident they feel right now. Just freely walking into that Radiant Triangle with no fear. Right now, it does seem like Nemesis are the ones that do not feel very confident on this map. And I don't quite blame them, John. Things are looking a little bit spooky if you're the side of Nemesis.
And it is. Like, again, you're not quite ready on Raven. He's had a very slow lane. You died once in Mac, and that already offsets the tempo of your Quap early on. And to be fair, net worth across the board is tied in outside of Jackie pulling ahead this far. So again, it's relatively equal across both sides, except for the Sven. I think Nemesis... It's really down to Nemesis to actually play early. Maybe they're just showing a lot of respect for, say, the early output of Armel without the auras up on Raven. No, we're a long ways off from a pipe here on the Dark Seer after such a slow game. Even the mech, not quite up yet, 400 gold away. So the timings just aren't lining up for you to play the clump up. That is, again, holding back that potential when you play the Quap, though. We'll try to Moonlight Shadow hunt. Maybe you can catch out Jackie. This is without vision. And without the smoke as well, so the movement is a lot slower. And they don't want to cross the Rubicon, so they don't get across the river in the right spot. Again, just more passiveness. Boom's happy. This is what they were looking for. A bit of a slower game. You've got Tim's running around checking for wards every single time. So your vision game isn't that good, even defensively here for the side of Nemesis. You are getting a siege off top, at least. Maybe you can set up your aggressive forward wards now to start to spot out Jackie. As that does feel like the one big thing that you've been missing out on is bullying that Sven early. I'm going to come in for the mid defense. No, not even a hard commitment from Boom, but maybe they can get a pick off somehow. Good wards, though, again from Boom to keep watch.
They're chasing down Akashi now. So again, without Zhao setting up, it doesn't really feel like it's too easy to actually catch anyone. They're going to maybe try for Mac. Jackie's going to join in. Akashi's still being hunted down. They'll pop the war cry, and this time they'll get their hex out. TPs are incoming, but Akashi, he blows up too quick. Way too fast. As Zhao is being hunted, but he actually gets a nice trap onto Mac. Mac will still walk out of it, though. So they'll get away with the Akashi kill, and that's about it for now, but it's the best kill you could have asked for as Boom Esports. They'll even find a tier 1 tower for their trouble. Now they roam into around that Radiant Triangle to see if they can find any more. Oh. Big stun though, Jing! The 3-man stun. Mac with a big sonic wave, he's still gonna die anyway. They didn't really have enough follow-up after it. Chase on a Tim's. They should have a Slark as well, and they will. I still think it's well worth it for Boom with those 2 kills. So close to being a much, much bigger state of affairs for Nemesis, but again, the Sonic Wave just proving not to be anywhere near enough.
Not quite. You didn't really have Akashi ready to join in for that one, holding that triangle area either. He did just respawn after dying earlier on. So he's not keen on instantly fighting in. Boom! And again, they're playing this to their own liking. They're the ones getting all the aggression out. Armellet's got to blink for himself to work in and out of these fights. Nemesis are lacking presence. Like, the threat isn't really there on them. You need more farm and Kashi for the Tiny to be relevant. The auras for Raven still a ways off, at least having the mech. The full Crimson will have some use, especially more so on jabs, rather than would on Jackie, as the cleave damage is still going to be annoying. So there is still a couple of things to consider, but some timing is starting to be met. Blade Mail from Mac alone isn't enough. The Kaya at the very least is flying in, and that should improve the output of Mac at that point. But again, you've got the 4K lead up on Boom. Majority of that is still on Jackie, but that investment has paid off. With a trifecta up, they are just set to go. Maybe could sneak a Roche on. Likely look for a kill into Roche is the comfiest here.
Nice Dark Pact from Tim's preempting the arrow. Big wraparound, Jackie and Zhao from the south. They're going to run into Eris. Moonlight Shadow was popped, but they'll get us in free. It's just too late. Eris will barely leap out of there. Oh, so close yet so far, at least for one. Everybody else will escape just fine from Nemesis. Seems like they well and truly understand that they do need a lot more time than what they've had. Here's a smoke though. Maybe they try and reinitiate. See if they can find somebody. But Tim's breaks the smoke already. He sees them too. Jing lift up with the cancel is there with the Dark Pact. And now Akashi's been caught again though. The arrow does cancel the shackles and now the Storm Hammer. It's bought time. It's bought time though. Akashi's still too low. He's gonna die. They will find Zhao. They'll try for the Sven. They will get him in the end, but they will lose Mac in response. In they go for more. Armel now being chased here by Raven. He does go down. Jabs meanwhile man fighting Raven, who needs to run away. Although they might just kite out Jabs. Jing meanwhile finding Tim's in the mid. It's just Jabs versus the world. Now Jabs gonna retreat. Man, Jing's been so scary on this on this Rubik, and Eris with that cheeky little arrow buying a bit of time to cancel the shackles. Oh my, it's just so on edge here. But they are still finding a way to fight back, and that was a huge fight for Nemesis.
And it is, I would say right now, out of all the players in this game, Jing is MVP already. Like he is the one guy that you have to watch out for. And this is them playing a little bit sloppy on Nemesis, right? Like they smoke under the ward. They get the re-smoke under the ward there, so it's easily broken up. We were seeing some, again, good plays out with Sonic Wave. This was the early engagement, of course. That was nice in the same area. but it a little bit reckless. They got caught out. Akashi just TPs to the point as the smoke breaks. So he's in the middle of no man's land, and you're not able to leverage your tiny damage. But it's Jing that salvages. The Storm Hammer on him. Out of all the spells, this is the one that's the most impactful. As again, we have that replay. They smoked under that ward. They're in a very lousy spot, and they just let Akashi just keeps the TP going. And it's such an awkward spot. Yes, he survives a little bit longer, but boy, oh boy, if he just walked up the ramp instead with his team, might have been a little bit better. It's just Jing. It's the Jing show. He manages to get the stuns. Jackie kills himself to the blade mail, of course, as one does. But Jing is just, he sets up.
These Stormhammers have been very good. You wouldn't think it's the spell to take here in this game. You would have thought Jing was trying to take all the Shaman spells, but not the case. The Stormhammer proving to be actually pretty busted in the Rubik's hands, and it's doing some work. I'm appreciating this quite a bit here. As mid lane, Mel gets spotted. Mac still going to continue chasing, but does take it easy as there is going to be a leap. Sonic Wave is out, connecting on Armel. Arrow's going to connect as well. Eris with a beautiful angle. A fantastic arrow angle. Connecting on Armel on the tail end, and the Leshrac will drop once again. And it is starting to feel like it is more so the Jackie and Jab show now. Mostly on Jackie, of course. As they are going to run into Raven. Raven in pretty big danger. Still running away though from Jackie as Mac blinked in, but he got hexed up. He needs some help now. Vacuum's going to cancel the shackle, so the blink away is there. And that's a lot of committal for absolutely nothing for Boom. BKB, God Strength, Meta, all of it was popped, and they find 0 kills.
I have to say, I underestimated how much this Crimson Guard would still do up against Jackie. If he has nothing to cleave off of, then yeah, the main target, the barrier is doing a lot of work. Buys Raven enough time. If Raven died, he doesn't get the vac. If you don't get the vac, Mac dies. So that Crimson already, again, showing its impact there with a failed gank. That's a fresh BKB of Jackie down. And that's a smoke opportunity for Nemesis. If they can find that movement in here.
Tim's gonna go into the Shadow Dance. Will run. Mac thinking about the chase. Does actually continue. Will not have enough for the kill though, of course. Akashi's got a full blink up now, and this is where he starts to feel a little bit scary on the Tiny. Because now you've got the right click and the magic and the initiation on this carry. And this is around the stage where you feel much more confident trying to join your team as a core Tiny. I'd still say he probably wants a BKB to feel ultra safe, but at least with the blink up now, he can start to join his team. It's on the courier, by the way, John. It's coming.
Yep. And this should open up possibilities. The BKB certainly is necessary, of course. So you're up against a Leshrac, you're up against a Shadow Shaman, you need it. Speaking of, they are taking Roshan with that Shadow Shaman down bot. Secondary life for Armel, that does cost him the wards, but this is the proper hero to give it to, as he can maximize the mana pool as well. Sven is a transformation hero. You don't really want to hand him Aegis, especially if he has to use God's Strength anyway in the first life. So it has to go to Armel. 11 to 10, 2K lead from Boom. A very even game across the board as Boom can find the early game tempo they want. They're getting that build up into the mid game now as well. Jabs already has a Yasha. Dragonlance up. And it is starting to go into scale. And Jack is going straight Daedalus. Still a little bit of a smoke out from Nemesis. They are going to go through the gate, see if they can try to snipe. As they are at that point where you kind of need to play. Right, because you don't want to wait for the Sven to have Daedalus. You don't want to wait for when Jab starts to be a secondary carry. Your scaling will cut off. Granted, Armel?
Up here. Well, they gotta find Armel. Big trouble. He's gonna lose the Aegis already. That's not the start they would have liked here, but they're still bringing numbers in. Armel gonna casually walk out for now. And it looks like everybody else from Boom gonna be okay. Apart from maybe Tim's, who does get blown up by Akashi and Mac. So Aegis down, Tim's down. They're gonna smoke up anyway here, Boom. Lines being drawn around the dire jungle where maybe they'll run into Mac. And in fact, they will see Mac on the creep wave now, but instead they're running directly to Akashi in the triangle. Akashi has no idea they're coming either, and he's completely alone. Oh, a beautiful smoke now from Boom. Though I must admit, John, it was maybe on the luckier side, considering they didn't have any vision on Akashi. They were just guessing where he'd be.
Yeah, I think it's down to the fact that they know Nemesis would feel like they need to go back and form because they blew 2 ultimates, right? That was the usage of Sonic Wave. That was the usage of Wall. They know they're not going to be clumped up in that time. So chances are someone's going to be in the triangle, and they take the opportunity. That's where the experience of Boom kind of kicks in. It's very easy to read for them. And now they get their own movement across the gates here. Mac right in between in a little bit of a pincer.
So they are going to focus down Jing. Jing will drop. Mac going to just blink away. Tim's got a Yule's up. He will commit it. And Jackie's going to be there with a stun, but there's no way to get it out in time. And so they will retreat. They will lose Jing on that Rubik, but that's about it for now here for Nemesis. Jackie, meanwhile, losing his Chrysalis on the Courier. Going to be very annoying for him. It's a pretty big item when it comes to the Sven.
Is
Nemesis back to the avoid game where they're just completely trying to stay away here from Boom Esports until Akashi's ready. I do appreciate that Akashi's working towards that Revenant's Brooch now against the Sven. That should help quite a lot.
And it should. You do have the pipe to play with, at least on Boom, to mitigate some of that magic damage, but you have a lot of magical anyway in Nemesis. Chances are you pierce your barrier, and the aura 8% reduction on the rest of the heroes isn't much to be worried about. So you will still have that effectiveness here for Akashi once it's done. It's going to take a little bit more time until it's done, though. For the side of Boom, they're just slowly growing this lead up. 4K now for them, 12 to 12. As there are some key timings. Like if they do get to the point where BKBs are up, your presence here in Nemesis just vanishes. They will find Tim's.
There goes Tim's. Oh, Akashi now. Oh, that's an awkward TP. Akashi gets caught. They've got a lot of lock, and Jackie's here. Max trying to connect to help him out. Akashi's going to turn around, but he sees Jackie now. He doesn't want to fight any longer. Oh, he's going to die. He'll find Tim's, but it will cost his own life once again. Akashi getting a bit too tempted by these support kills, and you know his team is heavily reliant on this Tiny to carry them. You know, they don't really have a core that can play pos 1 here. It's all on this Tiny.
And it is. And if you do take that away from Tiny and just maybe relying more on Darks here, just relying on the Vac Waltz here doesn't feel great. It's going to be a little bit difficult for Raven. You're playing into a Lesh. The illusions don't really last long up against the Lesh rack. So you're not going to get too much utility out from them. And it has to be the Tiny. And again, this game is just getting harder and harder. BKB is all done now on Armel. Another target that you just can't pin down and burst. You kind of have to try to kite. We haven't really seen that here as Raven.
Oh, Raven. Not anticipating the jump from Zhao. Gets caught, taken down very quickly. Not a good sign if you're Nemesis now, as they've lost another. Here comes Akashi once again, but Jab's just freely knocking away at the T3 tower. Will eventually retreat.
What you do?
Yeah.
And so they won't find anything really, apart from a lot of damage onto that bottom tier 3. But these deaths on Nemesis, like Akashi dying a couple times by himself. Yeah, it's these deaths, they really do start to rack up.
That they are. And for the side of Nemesis, it just kind of boils back to your draft, right? Like, you didn't have the fastest time on Mac. The matchup against Leshrac was not bad, but even. So you don't have the advantage there. You had a really rough time for Raven, and that had to be your connection. Took a long time until they started to play together. Even then, Raven's still bottom network core at this moment. And Akashi just needs more. He does have Revenant's Brooch flying out now, so some magical crit damage on hand, but there needs to be more. It needs to be a BKB for Akashi as well. Kind of have to sit back, wait for that 4,000 gold to come in, and then maybe that's when you start to feel some confidence. But that is still gonna take some time. They'll try to smoke off of this though. Perhaps if you catch them one by one on Boom while they're fragmented, that could be the opportunity, but it can't be a support. You have to find a core now off of these.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
And there you go. Search is on. Tim's going to be caught immediately. He gets a leap up to the high ground. Meanwhile, Jackie trying to jump in. So will Armel. There goes Mac. Immediate buyback from Tim's as well in the middle of all this. They've also found Jing. In fact, they'll also find a Shaman here for Akashi, but he's just trapped in the wards right now, and the Shaman doesn't even die. Zhao will make it out. They're onto the darks here as well. Make matters worse, Armel on a triple kill, and boom, have got 4 down.
Yeah. This is their opening. A very clean shot now to just pressure. I'd say onto high ground. It's not even a threat. The biggest threat now is actually not even the right-click damage of Akashi. It's just tossed back into a very ugly position, which you might not even be worried about on the side of Boom. You can just go for the objective play. No concerns here. Nemesis, I'm not sure what you do now. Like, again, outside of maybe some toss-back plays on the defense, your offense has been really lackluster. You haven't had anything defensive come out on any of these cores outside of Auras. So you're always just a sitting duck when that initiation comes in from Boom. And Boom just has nothing to wait for. Meta is back for jabs. Start digging away bot. They've shoved in all the lanes. And I know, no vac wall for 40 seconds. That's your big team fight combination. There's no threat.
Bot Rax. At least the range Rax is now down. Boom will play it safe. 16k ahead though, and certainly no threat right now from Nemesis. Not anymore anyway. It seems like Boomer definitely pulling way too far ahead in this game too. It just really feels like at this point Nemesis just dropped the ball a little bit here in the mid game. It was pretty back and forth, but just a couple of weird deaths, and well, your Tiny's just not measuring up at all now to the Sven. Like, there's a huge net worth disparity between the two. So everyone's ahead of the Tiny right now on the side of Boom Esports in terms of the cores. And I imagine Boomy will be looking for the Jugular after another Roshan attempt, which should be coming relatively soon.
Should. I think, again, for the side of Nemesis, it's down to how you execute now. It's got to be a good vac wall, which means you kind of need to kite out the BKBs at this point. Very difficult with how well Boom's been positioning. I think for Boom, their MVP has been Tim's breaking smokes, and Zhao with his blink. Like, he has been doing so much work just going forward, knowing that with how far apart Nemesis have been playing, the saves aren't there. You know, the avalanche to interrupt isn't there, the arrow to interrupt isn't there. He's getting the holds they want, giving them opportunities to just find these single target pickoffs and translate that to a wider team fight, which is just ugly for Nemesis. So, yeah, nice and steady for Boom Esports. Nemesis, the hit and run hasn't worked. There has been no opportunities, but they need to at least try to contest. Roshan is up. Boom have smoked. They've smoked up as well. You need to find the backline somehow. Like, they've got to go.
They're going to try here. Nemesis, they're starting to move in. Akashi, the blink not really finding Zhao. Moonlight Shadow pop, but they're underneath the sentry right now. A wrap around through the Dire Triangle.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
What's placed? Roshan's not really happening anyway. It's just TB illusions being thrown at it. Meanwhile, the bottom lane's just being forced in. I mean, the thing is, if you're not going to go for Roshan, you may as well just push in the bottom racks. Someone will have to come back and defend eventually. They'll pop the glyph for this, but it looks like they're just going to allow the bottom racks to eventually fall. As Nemesis, they still want the fight, but Boom, they're in a position where they can just casually wait, as they're still finding objectives while all this is happening. Nemesis feel the need to just start Roshan now, but they know that Boom are waiting for it. And now I think they've lost their chance to, because Max TP'd back to defend the base.
Yeah. Just, they have to see that round. And again, for Boom, Free Roche is going to lead into pretty much a full high ground disappearing at this point, unless Nemesis can really surprise us with a little bit of their defensive prowess, but I just don't see that happening. A little bit of an arrow to scout. No opportunity to really try to steal. As Jabs has the Legion scouting. I'll take the freebie. Secondary life coming out for Jackie. Which again is surprising, but it's at this point you want the Sven to start charging forward anyhow. 17k advantage. And Nemesis have just been stuck. Again, this time around, the gambit they took on lanes doesn't quite pay off. And boom, just have a very non-committal push. Just wards down, illusions from Terrorblade. Nice and easy. You've got Jackie in a very comfortable game with his Sven. Like, no one's running away from him with his full harpoon. Daedalus damage on hand as well. Cleaving true with crits. Could be devastating here. And for Nemesis, I just don't see the relief. Akashi with a BKB should be one key tool, but I don't know. We just haven't seen the angles. It's been the boom. It's been boom all the way. Even the Tormentor now to be taken with a full Satanic on Jackie. Get themselves a nice freebie out here. It's going to head to Zhao, as they already have it on Tim's, as that tends to be what Slark does. And just back off. Never give an opportunity open. 20k up. BKB for Jabs, I believe, as they're just forced to farm around here on the side of Nemesis. Ags for Mac is being formed up. The Shadow Strike spam can be annoying, but they do have BKBs. And even a Yule's out from Tim's as well. So finding utility without, you're gonna have to wait a few more seconds. It'll stall out even longer. Fresh BKB for Akashi again is the start of something. It doesn't feel like it's gonna be enough yet. That has to be in conjunction with a good vac wall from Raven, with good initiation here from Nemesis, and we just haven't seen that. Not at all.
No, we haven't. We really have not. And Boom Esports, they want to move in. Secondary life available on Jackie. Satanic completed, just in the backpack at the moment before the Aegis expires. Here we go. On there you go. Akashi going to try and get through the first life of Jackie, but they don't really have enough. So he'll go back and reset a little bit while they let the TB illusions get the job done with the Serpent Wards, and that they will. He resets with the Satanic, and back we go again. Or do they retreat? It's hard to know with Boom Esports. They'll smoke up first. They see Akashi. So Jab is just baiting them in, saying, I'm going to take your axe if you don't try for this fight. Akashi will make the jump in. Immediate hex out though from Zhao. Stun out as well from Armel, locking down the Tiny, though he does get the blink away for now. Mac's going to jump in. Ooh. Boomer's starting to fall a little bit low, but Jackie gets a 3-man stun out. Though they lose detection. The invis kicks in at the right second, saving the other two. And ultimately, they'll have to walk away eventually, but it looks like the melee barrack surely goes down, and it does. Yeah. So one Rex left here for Nemesis to try and defend.
There's some more vac wall to worry about, and there's still the BKB of Akashi, but without the vac wall set up, I don't know how again you take these fights.
Oh, they're right onto Armel, but there's just no damage. There is just no damage really going on here with this draft of Nemesis. Boom Esports, they will retreat. They'll come back another day, perhaps when God's strength is back up.
Yeah.
In fact, they're already just waiting by the Radiant Triangle, just hoping that they find a rogue one. And in fact, they just make as Max shows up, but he will blink away. But geez, tough times now. I mean, Nemesis, one lane of barracks left, still 23k net worth behind. The Tiny, this game around, has certainly fallen very, very flat.
And it has. Again, it's kind of maybe on this Darkseer as well. I feel like they pick it to block it on Nemesis, right? Like we were saying, Boom was probably thinking about this. They steal it on Raven. It really doesn't do anything with a Rubik. And to be fair, I don't think Jing had a bad game. He was doing as much as he could. It's just Raven had a bad lane anyhow. Like he couldn't do much. There was no presence on the Iron Shell, which leads to that slower tempo, which again meant that Mac had no one to connect with on the Quap. So you lose that early game tempo that this lineup desperately needed. You don't manage to slow down anymore.
They got Akashi again. Forstaff's going to save Akashi's life. Akashi actually... Oh, he blinked back in. He'll be okay to retreat. Sonic Wave's flying out left, right, and center here. Of course, they do have that minus 45-second cooldown talent, so he can just spam away to try and defend the high ground. And, well, for Boom, they don't get the opening they would have liked, so naturally they are going to look to retreat and find another day. Meanwhile, mid, though, Armel's being hunted. They'll jump in with the telekinesis, jump out onto Armel, but he has the BKB up, so he can just run away. They'll try again. Mac can't really keep up with him, so instead they're going to have to settle for the pos 5 of Zhao. Not really the biggest target, but I guess they'll take what they get right now, and it will create a bit of farming opportunity for their core.
And it will. I mean, to be fair, that simple kill on Shadow Shaman is 461 plus 800 gold. That's a 1.2 gold swing just from one kill. So you're happy enough to find it. You just want to find that maybe 2, 3, 4 more times on the softer targets. But that's the state of the game. Akashi's trying to go back for a butterfly. Trying to get some attack speed up, some evasion up as well to cause some issues here on the side of Bloom Esports. Do even out with a mid-tier 2 take. So overall, I mean, that one kill does open up this game just a tad bit. Still 19k deficit. Still a lot of issues you have to sort out. But they are riding through the rough spot at the moment. They can't stay outside base too long. They do TP in to defend it once again. But because he committed for early BKBs, of course, in this match for the side of Boom, a few of them are down to just 6 seconds. And that's where the opportunity lies for Nemesis. Can you make use of that tinier window where Boom has to get their burst out? Can you hold out on Raven? Can you land that big wall of replica? Can you get that control, that presence out from Akashi? It's been really hard to find it. Again, they find one kill, that's great. It's an isolated Shadow Shaman. Chances are you're not going to find Zhao that isolated ever again. And even an amp damage rune to help things here for Boom on the last set of racks. Now Roshan is 40 seconds away until we see that timer. They will smoke up, and this could be the endgame. If you don't find a good isolation tactic here on the side of Nemesis, and with DD up, it's not going to take too long to melt through anything here for Jackie.
Looking mid, Akashi is hanging around the tree line, thinking about taking that creep wave, but he doesn't. They just need one target. Akashi. Oh, the BKB using Zhao. He's in early. He's in a bit too early. They even popped the God Strength, preparing for that one as a Sonic Wave almost taking down Zhao, but it's not quite enough. As now the back wall as well, landing on 2 targets. Everyone's still perfectly fine from both sides, though. Zhao was the closest one to dying, but even then it just was not enough in the end.
No.
But they have defended.
I mean, sure, they did have to pop BKBs. And I suppose for Boom, there's no need to try to poke onto the high ground after committing God's Strength. They could just wait for next Roshan. A little bit of a smoke opportunity for Nemesis. They get the catch again.
They're going to jump in. Oh. Tims will die. Gem will be on the deck, so that's a pretty decent win here for Nemesis now. And here's the scary part for Boom. Like, yeah, their 2 racks is up, John, but you've gotten to the stage where Akashi now has the full butterfly. And if you lose a big team fight as Boom, the game can change real quick. Because you saw how quickly Akashi can push through these towers.
That it can. And again, that's why they've been so cautious, right? They're not giving openings out. They are being punished every now and again. They know they're still in control. And that's why Boom's playing it safe. That's why they're not looking to push too hard. They're constantly, for the most part, staying together as a team. They're only losing their supports. They cloud out the Roshan here as well. They do have that secondary target. Nemesis should be fairly aware. The Roche is going to be the next play, and you do have some wards to set up here. That is going to be the flashpoint. And again, for Boom, it's a matter of just catching Nemesis by surprise. What's he doing there?
What was that? He blinked up to the high ground. He was trying to take out one of Jabs' illusions, but he blinked right onto the high ground, completely blind for that.
I mean, it's a freebie. You have no quap to worry about. You don't have to worry about the disruptiveness. 170 gold away for the buyback on Mac. That's a massive blunder. And it's now this Roshan with a refresh. Roche banner and cheese should be your ticket to end this game now, and boom. As they pause for a mic
so
issue.
we are going to have some mic issues. Well, I'm not sure what the idea from Mac was. Maybe at this point of the game, he's just losing his mind slowly. He's just trying
That's
to
fair.
keep everything pushed out as the quap, but it's just... Like, Mac can't afford to just give away free kills if he wants to find a win this game. Like, especially because you're looking for a huge comeback. And deaths like that are just really dumb. You know, because you're chasing a TV illusion of all things and blinking onto high ground completely blind.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no two ways to put it. It is a really dumb way to die.
I didn't expect that. I mean, again, Eris scouted out the illusion. I thought they were like, all right, they're playing around bot jungle. They're gonna hold the high ground. They'll plant wards. They'll wait. He just jumps in. That solo, I don't know. Refresh hard instantly
Jump
used
in.
for that siege.
Akashi trying to find the shaman. Zhao not gonna die though. They just really want to blow up that shaman just once. Jump in now from Armel, trying to chase down the Tiny, but it looks like Akashi wants to fight a little bit. Doesn't eventually look to retreat as Mac is about to respawn. He does have buyback, but he's held out. Mega creeps are going to be up though very, very soon. Well, there you go. Megas are now available, so you're playing against Mega creeps as Nemesis, but they're not giving up yet. They'll keep moving in. They've got vision on this high ground of the triangle, so they'll move in with a big avalanche toss combination, but nobody else was really ready for it. So Boom Esports now casually walking away with Mega creeps up. Lions being drawn back towards the Radiant jungle. They'll make their move down. And now, I mean, it's Boom Esports' game to throw. All they've got to do is not make a mistake.
They have.
It really has always been their game to throw, to be fair. Ever since 2-Rax is up, as they missed the Hex, but it won't matter. Raven still gets caught. He's got buyback available. Obviously, he will need to consider committing that, as it seems like they've got one team fight left.
That they do. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, it's been the same issue for the past almost 15 minutes now at this point. And their team fight execution on Nemesis isn't particularly amazing. Your follow-up from that wall is just Avalanche. Try again, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, Avalanche Toss, it does some damage, but nowhere near enough. At least Jing's got the Stormhammer again, so maybe he can make some magic happen. Zarmel gonna Wind Waker away. Big back wall though being thrown out here by Raven, but it's not too much really happening here against Boom as they are still trying to run though. Jackie now getting caught in the Sven. Jackie might actually die. They'll try to use the cleave to take him down through the Death Shroud, but it's not going to be enough. No, in fact it is. Jackie is gone. That's a big one. That was 2.5k gold for that Sven kill being handed to Mac. They are still going to have to deal with these Mega Creeps and these tier 4 towers slowly being whittled away at. But you've got a Quap Darkseid. I mean, you can deal with the creeps. But can you find a way back to get to the opposing high ground?
I think the better question is Boom going to give you a 2-0? Because it's still a very impossible game to come in, right? Like, that's maybe a little bit of a mistake out from Jackie, sure. Legitimately for Boom, all you need to do now, which John Uel is doing, he is going to buy a refresh. What will he do up against double Shaman wards in the middle of a chaotic fight? You know, it'll just take care of the tier 4s. You have the plus 50% Servant ward HP as well, so it's going to take 3 hits. Just a little bit more annoying to kind of kill off the wards. They could still just, you know, play it safe on Boom. You don't need to get too hasty. Don't give opportunities out. Otherwise, everyone's gonna get called upstairs. Okay, Mushi's got separate belts set up, separate slippers. It's Southeast Asia. We use slippers here. It's kind of teach a lesson. Play it safe.
Good to see you guys showed mercy. Didn't have that kind of treatment.
Don't you worry. The way they use it, yeah, nah.
I won't get into it, John. You know, the conversation might get a little bit too depressing if I start.
To be fair, the game is pretty depressing to watch. For Nemesis, it's joyful for Boom, but it also is your classic Southeast Asian. We just lost game 1. We do not want to throw this game. We will wait kind of game as well. So it's not exactly joy, as it is apprehension.
Sonic Wave, jabs,
Oh, Lord.
actually avoided that, but he is still going to lose his Aegis. First life is gone. Armel jumping in, has found Jing, but Jing will buy back. Meanwhile, Jackie going on to Mac, but Mac gets the blink away. Everyone alive for now. They did have to buy back on Jing, though, as now the back wall drop. 3 heroes in that. Mac's going to jump in another time with his BKB. Boom Esports. Careful, as jump in from Akashi. Avalanche toss, not enough yet onto jabs. He's in danger now, Akashi.
No
he will
buybacks.
die, so will Jing, so will Mac, and that's going to be it. They don't have the buyback on Akashi. And that's what makes this defense impossible, surely. As they're on to Raven, he just kind of runs in, ends up dying. GG is called. Boom Esports, they will successfully force us to a game number 3 against Nemesis.
After game 1. He's asking in game 3. Should have asked that in game 2. Oh, Armel says your mom. Whoa. He's losing it. Oh, Armel. Oh.
Armel,
whoa.
you were-
Jing calls him fat. Fatty.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Remember what happened to Gabby last time, John? Gabby dropped the oink oinks. Look what happened to Gabby. Where's he now?
Oh no!
But he's
Oh, no,
streaming. I
Boom's
bet you
actually
he's
gonna
streaming
win.
this game right now.
He's streaming. He's streaming without permission. He's streaming. Oh no! Woe is us. The,
Oh, you
the
can be
streamer
skinny, Gabby,
gang.
but you can't be a pro player, apparently. What is it, John?
Oh god. Oh, that just takes me back to again when we were over in the Stockholm Major, and we were talking to Pow, and it's like, "Hey, where are your players?" You're like, "Oh, the 3 penguins are gonna roam around here. They're gonna get some sunlight." And then we saw Armel, Raven, and Zhao just waddle out. Those were good old days. Oh, God bless. It just made me think of that, Mikey. Oh, fun days.
I mean, Zhao's not even fat. Zhao's he's just got a mullet. It just comes with the mullet, John. You just, you get a few beers in you, the belly comes out. It's just, for Zhao it makes sense, And I'm sick of these players making fun of Armel's weight, Well, why is it always Armel's weight? Well, they've got nothing else to say.
Nope. They have nothing to say because his gameplay speaks for itself, Mike. When he wins, at the very least. I think we can ignore game 1 for Armel, making that argument. So let's see how his game 3 goes up against the Slardar. Again, this shouldn't be the worst matchup in the world. Mac also shouldn't be fully zoned out, as long as he's standing in water, he's going to be able to match that regen. Granted, range matchup for Slardar isn't amazing, and I think this is, one of the weaknesses of Slardar. Of course, Armel should have enough poke back with Crypt Swarm, but it should be relatively fine for Mac. As long as he shoves out onto the river every single time, you're going to be happy enough. You're going to be able to threaten if you manage to pump up that bash with deep. Rune control may be equally important for both sides, a little bit less so for Mac, but mana regen, of course, always important here for the Slardar to have that early pressure. And see if there's any sort of prioritization later on for the mid. Water Rune says, again, Mac can poke, but the Spirit Siphon comes in, and you really can't do much. So it's a back and forth, 50-50, a little bit better for Armel. The other lanes, though, up top, you do have Eris once again on the Mirana. Tim's maybe just trying to work it out a little bit, wanting a pull. Not really able to find the next creep wave yet, although it is coming out. And this is something for Tim's. I mean, he is stuck just soaking up EXP, as we've always seen with your Darkseer combos. Good block from Eris, though. Slows him down, so he can't even get the pull. Cheeky.
Nice block indeed. Cheeky from Eris. Interesting enough to note as well, like you're talking about the hold that thought, because top lane there is a bit of a static link now onto jabs, and he actually does lose a fair bit of damage here to Kashi. I was just about to ask, like, Mac's chosen Slardar into Death Prophet, right? And Mac knows Death Prophet very damn well, so I'm assuming Mac believes he'll have the inherent advantage in this mid matchup. I guess as the levels do go up in Bash of the Deeps, you probably do start to have the advantage. Though I'm not 100% sure on that. Mac would know better than I do.
That he would. I don't think it's about lane. I think the big thing for Slardar is that he's one of the few heroes who could probably sit through with natural regen, again, just from his innate. With that Seaborn Sentinel, The Slaughter can cop a fair bit of damage and can just regen back. So he's not going to win the lane, but he's not going to get shoved away from the DP, and that's key. That gives you the synergies to still work with your Razor. Still gives you a lot of play later on to get the minus armor strat going and just kind of roll from there. He is finding equal farm, so that's already a good sign for the Slardar. The other lanes here, last lane we haven't taken a gander at is Jackie Slaying on that Carry Tiny with Johnny Well on that Warlock is a little bit more passive. I mean, there is some potential for, say, a Fatal Bonds with a good Avalanche. Chances are you're not going to see a toss this game, though. For the side of Nemesis, this is a lane where you could play poke, especially once the value point in X is there for Raven, so level 4 perhaps. X into Cookie with a long-range Scatter Blast can be quite devastating, but it is so far just ending up being this passive farming lane, and it is a better farming lane for Jackie. Raven isn't able to really pressure out, and Tiny's one of the tankier ones that you can't really poke out there.
Well, we do find first blood top lane. Era's able to barely secure it as Akashi should have gotten that kill, but just didn't have quite enough damage with that final right click with the static link. But Eris, thankfully, is able to secure the kill at the end. So first blood already going the way of Nemesis. Mid lane Mac TP back to the tier 1 tower after securing both water runes. Very nice from Mac. And not very happy signs for Armel.
No, certainly not. I mean, this is going to be a little bit of a problem. He only really has, what, either 2 uses of Spirit Siphon or 2 uses of Crypt Swarm. Now, that's it. Mac, even though he's missing out some CS now, that's the key thing. Take away the spells, you're happy enough. We're already seeing a little bit of jungle action with a retreat for Jabs, having to reset from top. And going back to top just a bit here, Mike, I want to talk about Akashi's facet. Like, he went Dynamo, which we used to see a little bit more when facets were introduced, but I don't think it's actually better nowadays. We've seen much more Thunderhead when in the few occasions Razor does come in. And that lower cooldown on your Storm Surge has felt really impactful. And this would have been a great game for it too, if you're fighting into, say, Exo later on, if you're fighting into Illusions. Like, having the AoE Storm Surge is massive. So I'm a little bit surprised Dynamo's the choice. Like, that spell amp's nice. More damage on Eye of the Storm itself is pretty useful, but it doesn't... It's not the go-to nowadays. Especially if you don't manage to hold on to that static link. If you don't get added damage, then your spell amp isn't that high. So I'm curious to see if this pays off for Akashi.
It's definitely a very interesting choice from Akashi's end of things. Quite interested to see if it does work now too. I didn't notice that the first time around. Eris looks like he's going to rotate over. Of course, we have the supports fighting over these 6-minute power runes that are about to spawn up. Armel would probably really appreciate a rune for himself in this Death Prophet, as he hasn't had a bottle refill for quite a while. If it spawns bottom, it's basically max. If it spawns top, then chances are they will get it on the side of Boom. But it will spawn bottom, and that will be another rune for Mac. Very unlucky for Armel.
Yeah, and it's a nice one as well for Mac. Shield rune should allow him to tank up. Maybe look for a dive. Doesn't quite have 6, so no Corrosive Haze to threaten with. Gonna slow down any potential, but you do have the follow-through stun. Oh, you would if you had the arrow. No value point yet from Eris. So again, maybe not able to get as aggressive. They are being fairly aggressive top.
They certainly are. Akashi, though, is still barely alive as the Cookie. Gonna allow him a way out, and now the turnaround back on the Tims, looking for at least a tusk kill, and they will get it. Nice and easy, though. Akashi doesn't realize that Jabs is still waiting in the wake. And so you still get a very nice trade for Boom Esports. Definitely the better end of that.
And it is just a little bit of a support. The mid attention taken away as well. So you free up some room here for Armel to just get some free farm. You relieve a threat down bot because that rotation never materializes as Max forced to respond top. And you're happy. All of the cores of Boom Esports now doing well in net worth, slightly ahead in terms of CS as well. And for the side of Nemesis, again, it's just about hitting these spikes. Raven does have level 6. You've got the value point in X. You could start to play. It's a matter of where do you want to play. I have the Storm's almost up on Akashi as well. So things should start to get going for either side, at least with one early commitment. But you don't quite have the items. Again, it does take some time for Slardar. Probably wanting to blink this game, unless he's going full right click with like an X-Saber, which could also be interesting. But chances are it's just going to be blink rush for a good old mech. For decisive boom, again, we're going to be looking at, interestingly enough from Armel, a Yule's first over the Ags Rush. So some utility here on the Death Prophet instead of that full commitment for damage, which is fascinating. Perhaps he felt like his lane didn't go fast enough for that time.
Bottom.
Combination.
They've got themselves Jackie here. Jackie locked down for quite a while. He's going nowhere. He will die. Zhao at least with the TP out, but they got the much more high priority target in the Tiny, of course. And well, now they'll allow Akashi to take over the net worth graph, start working onto that bottom T1 tower a little bit. This is where the problems start to get a little bit. Well, they start, Jonathan. I think for Boom Esports, you don't want to see this Tiny dying a few too many times. We've seen what happens if he does. At least Armel, though, having a pretty damn good game so far on the Death Prophet.
That he is. Again, top of net worth. Is managing to find space to siege up top. No kills coming out, though. Mid is still being pressured by Mac, so you are getting dual lane pressure here from the side of Nemesis with that siege on bot. Still poking on mid. Not the quickest push. It's not like you have something like Death Prophet on your side. Gate movement, though.
They are going to be around to defend bottom lane. Tim's not really catching any one of the shards, and that's a lot of rotations down bottom for absolutely nothing thus far. Eris is still around, but they're not going to see him on the Mirana, and chances are he'll be able to get out of there just fine. And so quite a bit of rotations down bottom, amounting to nothing. Boom still in the lead, just barely, in terms of net worth at the very least, and things aren't getting dire yet.
No.
The mid game, though, could be quite explosive. Like, you've got a Slaughter, Razor, Kunkka against the DP Tiny Darkseer. Like, it could be a pretty explosive mid game here between these two sides. Once we do get past the laning stage, which we are just about there.
Yep.
But
so
till then,
still need more time, right? You need to wait for that blink on Mac. That's one launching point. For Akashi, it does look like he's still go back for like that Maelstrom Mjolnir build. So still sticking to what we've been seeing with Thunderhead. Emphasizing, again, AoE control, although it's not as amazing without Thunderhead because you lose that Storm Surge. AoE, get themselves another rune for Mac, every single one his way. Regen rune now as well. Just very unfortunate for Armel, but at least he hasn't needed it for the siege. But he's still found his presence. He still managed to find that tier 1 top. And despite Nemesis finding that kill in the Tiny, again, they're also just forced to reset, retreat, go back to stable farm. Tim's scouting out the triangle quite nicely as well. Does set up at least one block down bot.
oh, not again. Oh, here we go. Jackie's down to the Tiny another time here, John. Chase is on for a bit more. They're going to catch Tim's with that stun. Bash the Deep's going to start to kick in. Raven right behind as well. They'll drop the Golem here with Zhao, trying to fight back against the onslaught that was coming from Nemesis. A wall drop as well onto Mac, but Mac's still casually just running away, and who have the sprint up in what? They can't actually kill anyone with these rotations, which does kind of go back to the draft a little bit, John. You don't have the greatest catch in the world, and it's another Jackie death and no kind of reprisal for him.
No. Not going to feel good for the side of Boom. At least they can siege with a Golem up, right? That's a little bit of a silver lining. Zhao did have to pot his Black Grimoire, so bye-bye Facet. Really amazing Facet disappears after 11 minutes. But this is the power spike you get, I suppose. I mean, I guess.
He didn't even want to pop it. He didn't even want to pop it. That was the best part.
Yeah.
He just had to. Top lane. Well, trying to Akashi, but Akashi can just static link Jackie and walk away. Moonlight Shadow pop just in case Akashi needs it. He does not, though.
Yeah.
I mean, again, Armel still having a fantastic game on the Death Prophet, but not at that stage where he can just carry on his own. Just trying to work towards the Yule Scepter as the DP.
Next still finds rune.
He's still losing every power rune as well.
Oh,
it's one way to shut a hero like DP down. Just never give him a rune. Can't do anything.
I mean, we've had interviews with players before where they constantly complain about not having rune access. I'm sure if this is one of those games for Armel already. 0 out of, what, 4 runes now? Rather unfortunate for him. Mac having a field day, and his blink dagger's not too far off. Again, the timings are being worked on. There should be more aggression once that's up. And for the side of Boom, I mean, you are getting that good start from Armel, but again, he's forced to go Yules first. A little bit defensive, which, I mean, this is the old school DP, sure. And then you go back for the Ags. Still effective. It feels like that takes away some of that tempo, some of that bite, though. Like, that 2,000 gold could have gone into 2 parts of Ags, and you'd have it sooner.
Is set up again here from Boom Esports, but it's amounting to nothing. Nemesis just continue to walk away every time. Every single time. It's nothing for Boom. 1 to 4 is how the scoreline will remain.
Oh, this could be nasty too. Like, they back off after the non-commitment, so they can just re-engage again. This in and out with a blink reveal.
Jump in. Jabs, he didn't take the arrow, at least I don't think. He can go for a run, but it's another quick kill here for Nemesis. So Boom are going to try and trade with this mid-tier 1 tower, and they do pop the Exo for this. It will be a hard defense to ask for from Nemesis at the least. They will bring at least Raven in. Raven going to go for the X-back play. Misses the torrent though. Meanwhile, Tims does get spotted, looking to get blown up. They'll drop the golem. It's too late though. Tims has died and everyone just walks away. Moonlight Shadow just allows them the escape route, and sadly again, John, it's a second golem drop that amounts to no kills here for Boom Esports, and it doesn't really seem like they're going to get a push out of this either. Zhao's going to try it, but he doesn't really want to give the gold away. So he may as well just send it to farm, I guess. No, back into the tier 1?
Yeah. Maybe
he's sending
farm
it
the
in.
safe side? Okay.
Send the big boy in. He wants
Maybe
something.
use that as bait, and they're smoked up. That could be a little bit of bait here to distract Raven away.
I mean, they're smoked. Raven's just moving in though. Going for a kill into that Warlock. Meanwhile, in the dire triangle, they have found themselves Mac. It'll be a very nice kill, and they do claim it. Zhao actually survives the initiation from Raven. They'll finally get that mid-tier 1 tower though. Eris actually denies it off in the middle of everyone, but it's going to cost his own life now. So Eris will die to boot. Armel will find a very nice double kill, and he will reclaim the top spot on the net worth graph.
And again, just cheeky of Boom. They use that Warlock to distract on mid, to get that smoke flank out, where they've planted a lot of wards on that river spot as well. And they get some punishment. Some big kills for them, equalizing the game a fair bit. Rushing the Ags now on Armel does accelerate quite a fair bit. So the big power spike for the DP still lining up. You managed to buy a space for Jackie by virtue of him just not being there. So again, this Tiny is starting to get catch up. The issue is you've also left Akashi alone. Right, and his Mjolnir is not too far off. That's the start of the early presence here for the Razor. Usually SNY or BKB right after, and then it's a major threat. Don't manage to catch him out. He's just TPs away with that commitment top. And they're going to try to trade on bot. Again, the one weakness here for Nemesis is their pace and pushing isn't amazing. They haven't found a tier 1 to compensate yet. Mid still stands, bot still stands relatively low. They can just chip away. For the side of Boom, I mean, you are seeing the power of the Yules. When you do manage to catch Mac, he has no play, especially if it's true as smoke, as he doesn't have the crush right after coming down. So there is a lot of windows to kind of use that on. And with that movement up top, they do manage to get some good aggressive wards for themselves to watch if Akashi farms in there. They are avoiding quite nicely on Nemesis, so again, taking control down bot. They both cross the rivers here. Playing on opposite side of the maps and just farming. See if the smoke pans out. Golem is ready. Exo's back up. Could be a big fight here for Boom.
They're coming. They're going to find Mac first by the looks of it. Akashi right by... No, they miss out. They're going to Jing instead. Oh, the shards are a little bit awkward. Cookie, also very awkward, that the TP's actually going to work out. Oh, they miss everything. Boom Esports lose literally everything as Nemesis just casually walk away again. This is getting
Yeah.
kind of sad, I'll be frank, John. All these attempts and just nothing coming out of it. And
It is.
well, it's still
demoralizing.
scary, this game.
I mean, it is, right? Like, to be fair to Boom, I don't think they're under pressure to play too up-tempo anyway. I feel like their scaling here is not bad, right? Like, you've got a lot of AoE damage, even with Tiny in the cleave, so Fatal Bonds across the enemy team, it's gonna feel good. Chaotic Offering pierces debuff immunity. You still have this Power Spike for Armel. The Power Spikes on Nemesis are a little bit less straightforward. And I think that should give you some confidence here on Boom. Like, yeah, you're missing out. You're not farming as much, but neither is Nemesis, really. They're not able to really reel back a bigger gold lead here. So now they'll start to commit onto an objective with the EXO. And Nemesis don't want to poke into that just yet. They need their own BKBs. Still a ways off here for good old Mac as he buys out his shard. Akashi does have his full Mjolnir at least flying in. And then it's just another wait for BKBs as well. So the key thing for Boom is, again, you don't feel bad about waiting out like this, but you will feel maybe a little bit awkward once the fights go into BKB territory. You do have Chaotic Offering you can rely on, but that's a lot of DPS you start to lose out on Armel. That's a lot of control you start to lack outside of just that big ultimate commitment from Zhao. So trying to reel those fights in your favor does get a little bit difficult, but manageable enough. It's just going to be down to execution if the game does slow down to that point, and it has, really. Like, we're 20 minutes in. We haven't hit double digits yet. Nemesis is the team that kind of has to wait. We do have BKB at least up on Raven, so that's a start with a Blade Mail. Maybe they can set up. Chances are you can't kill anything tanky, but something else that's a little bit squishier with the X-Mark combo with Kisses should fall.
Smoke not really amounting to too much yet here from Nemesis. Hang behind Akashi. Akashi still pushing out the bot wave, hoping somebody from Boom will show up, but nobody makes their appearance. So maybe they'll go to the mid lane. Jabs is about to reveal himself by putting some Iron Shells out. There is a mid-tier 1 tower to also aim down, and it looks like that's where they'll head. We do have a Torment to take by Boom. In the meantime, Teams will pick up a shards for himself, but Nemesis, they'll just take the time to take the mid-tier 1 tower. Nobody really losing out here.
No.
Again, it's a pretty slow game. 3 to 6, 20 minutes in. Obviously, neither team wants to throw this opportunity because they are both in the upper bracket right now, and winner of this again does make it straight through to the semi-finals of said upper bracket. Much easier than the lower bracket run.
Not it is.
But it is slow. It's a
say
slow
for
process,
Boom,
John.
That it is. It shouldn't be slow for Boom any longer with its Ags up on Armeldo. You should start to apply some pressure. Maybe you wait for the BKB, and that's going to be another 3 minutes of farm, I suppose. But again, you start to worry about the side of Nemesis also working into those BKBs. And you are, at the moment, no BKB versus no BKB. You're better off right now in Boom. They've got even some of the aura up on Jabs, full pipe up. And they've got the smoke. See if they find an angle. No forward vision into the triangle. Might have a sense of someone farming on the right side, though, for the Shrine of Wisdom, but don't even find that opportunity, and it's just going to be Roshan. Nice, easy take. Safe objectives for the side of Boom. Secondary life here, looking to end up on Armel, is going to be quite nice, considering how tanky the DP is. So, do appreciate that. With the Axe, this does not take too long. And it's just flying away.
Roshan will go freely to Boom Esports. Armel will be handed the Aegis here on the DP. It's really hard to know who's even winning at this stage. Like, it did feel like Nemesis were in the lead, but this huge slowdown that we've had this game almost feeling like it's starting to favor Boom, because you've gotten to a stage where Jackie's caught up after those couple of initial deaths. Armel's still farming very well, as they do get the top tier 1 now. And sure, yeah, Kashi's almost got a BKB up. Maybe that's what you're waiting for. Just finish off these BKBs on all 3 cores from Nemesis before you try to get aggressive again. They are about to have one on both Akashi and Mac, and of course we already have one on Raven. Kind of a similar story here for Boom, like just BKBs being worked on at the moment. Not very flashy, John, but it seems like nobody's really moving until those BKBs are around.
Yeah, no one wants to take the risk. Right? Like it's like you said, you're in a best of one for an upper bracket opportunity. You don't want to throw it away. You know how well both sides can use an advantage, and so that leads to caution until you're sure you have an advantage. But that just leads to equilibrium. One BKB up on Akashi, one more left to go. As Mac will have the gold relatively soon. So again, timings are coming out here. Just kind of need to dodge out until that point. In comparison, Boom will not have those BKBs yet. So it will be a 3 BKBs versus no BKB situation here for the side of Boom, as they have been successfully dodged multiple times. For Nemesis, I mean, there will be no excuses once you have triple BKBs. You have to go. Like, you can't hang back and farm with BKBs. It's not a farming tool. You will want to fight. Farm heroes. As Mac, I believe, has his flying out. And that should be an opportunity to smoke. And see if they start clumping up. A little bit split apart for that smoke movement anyhow, as they are all across on that top area of the map. Mind you, they will be fighting into Chaotic Offering being available. Zhao does still have it off cooldown. And now the blink on Jackie to initiate. So you do have tools here on Boom, but you will want to at least find Armel. Like, yeah, it's 2 lives, but if you stop him before BKB, it becomes much more manageable for you. Let's see. They are starting to
you haven't made the
gather up.
yet, John.
Yeah, well, I wanted to wait like 30 minutes. I had a feeling it would get to that point. You know, make it tasty when it does pop in. Very tasty.
Get up to all those people out there suffering right now for the F10K. We're, you know, keep grinding, boys. I believe in you. Don't really, probably stop while you're ahead, but you know, if you're gonna keep going, keep going. Best of luck to you. So here we go. Fight coming up surely very, very soon.
Is it though?
By surely, I mean, God, I hope so, John. God, I hope so.
No, it's not.
No,
Mikey.
it's not, John.
It's not.
No.
I feel like there should be a punishment for buying BKBs early and not using it. What if it just randomly turns on after like a minute on first charge if you don't use it? You know, the jokes of testing your BKB just becomes an actual feature. 1 minute when you bought Aegis, you didn't use it yet? Yeah, it's gone.
I reckon we should have a patch where if there's inactivity for more than 5 minutes, people will just start dying like every 30 seconds. Just randomly. Just randomly, people just start dying. And to make matters worse, double the respawn timer. Just because. Just because you took the risk.
Wait. No. It could be like, you know, like a battle royale. They set a point on the map you have to run to, otherwise you do start dying. And then you force the fights. It's genius! Mike, you're great!
Put him in the gulag, John. Straight in the gulag. That's what we need in Dota 2 right now. Forget all the map changes. We need a gulag. We need something for these damn SEA teams that apparently feel like they're not playing a MOBA, whatever this game is now, John. I don't even know anymore. What are we playing? What are they doing?
This is a game of Dota 2, Mike. In current year, at current time, we're in 3 games in. This is Dota 2. Could pop We Are Electric while they're farming. That would make it more exciting. We are electric as they're running around. Oh yes, another smoke that does nothing.
Dire's top tower is under
This is the greatest.
What am I gonna analyze here? What is there to say? They have triple BKBs. Please, something, anything. God.
In fairness to Nemesis, Boom are doing a very good job of avoiding them. Like, I'm not even blaming Nemesis anymore because Boom just run to their base every single chance they get. So, I'm not sure what they've got to do here, John. Maybe be less obvious, I guess.
Yeah, but it's the same thing with Boom. When they smoke, Nemesis are also completely gone. So both of them are completely obvious. Completely. Maybe Eris dies. That's something.
Look at Raven.
Will he?
Or Raven.
Oh.
Here it comes. Avalanche. Oh, the BKB. Incredible. X torrent is going to land onto Jackie. Jackie does not have a BKB, John, so he's going to be somewhat careful. Here comes the static link, immediately broken by Akashi. Chance to block the way. And nobody's died. And it looks like nobody will die as both teams retreat once again.
I think you're lying, Mike. Something did die. My will to live is dying. This game goes on. See, you asked for an F10K joke, Mikey. We're gonna hit 30 minutes. You know, it's coming up. I don't think we've suffered as much since, again, Talon and Polaris were fighting for a slot to, I forget what tournament now, but they were fighting.
That was a whole different level. That was a whole different level.
That was 14 minutes where we were stuck below double digits. God bless. Looks like Boomer challenging themselves to reach that as well. Maybe Akashi could die with the smoke, perhaps.
He's got a BKB,
Akashi?
John.
Oh, never mind.
Well, this is excellent. This is like a pacifist Dota game. It's fantastic.
Akashi? Oh, Akashi? Something? Anything? Please? No, why?
No.
Why? Just move. Just do something. Anything. Please. Oh, we already have a Radiance and Raven. I haven't given a care because it's just been so long. But he's suddenly farmed a Radiance up.
Plus. Oh, here we go.
Oh.
Jackie's in. Jackie's in. A big avalanche, so Jackie's in trouble now. The snowball will buy him a bit of time. Jackie's in trouble, though. He's gone. So is Jabs. And, well, it's up to Armel and the crew to try and make something happen here. Armel is trying his absolute best to carry this team on his shoulders, but he's gone a boot. Triple kill, a full team wipe. An F10K has been achieved, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations. Congratulations. It's over. It's over.
Oh, God. They actually did it. The Maniacs and Nemesis. The moment we start talking about that dreaded moment, I believe Mac gets some PTSD. And he's like, oh, Lord, that match. Not again. And they break the curse. A big full team wipe. All off a mistake, this time from Boom. They saw these guys de-warding. They knew there was vision there. I can't believe that's the moment they were like, yep, that's a good idea. Let's take a fight right now. And that does cost them. Great job on Nemesis. They finally progressed the game. Whether or not they can actually find anything off of that, it seems like no. The answer is no. No objective to be taken. And maybe now we get the grand old part of Dota 2 that I love. Wait for Roshan.
Yes.
It's soon,
My
Mike,
favorite.
so... Yeah, it's so good. Good old Roche. What if...
Yes.
What if you had two objectives on the pits? One of them will be Roshan during the, the day-night cycle. The other one will be Roshan's child. And it gave you the other part of the... So first Roche is still the same. Second Roche, that's when Roshan's child comes in and he has the banner. And then he's going to have the cheese. And then one of them is on Roshan as well with, the refresh or the Yags. But the other one is on Roshan's child. Think about it.
You want us to kill a child, though? Is what you want?
Yeah.
For some cheese, is it?
Yeah, that's what I want. We're killing boglets. We're killing random creatures that are peaceful in the jungle. In their sleep, Mike. They're sleeping and we kill them. There's no limits in Dota 2.
I feel like we've humanized Roshan a bit, We can relate to Roshan, John. We can't relate to the Croakers.
I guess.
We can't do that.
Roche suffers as long as the game goes. He's also here watching these teams do nothing. At least he's dead for like 7 minutes in between. That's a saving grace. It's something.
Oh, Mac. Here we go. Smoke's broken. Mac, he jumps in. He's found Jackie. He's found Jackie on the tiny, though Jackie has a BKB this time around, unless he just never pops at Jackie. He hasn't popped it yet. He's going to use it eventually, but the back to the deeps. He's down without buyback. So is Tim's. Well, he's got buyback, but it doesn't really matter. It's a Tusk, John. Zarmel cannot carry on his own.
Oh, Yarrow?
I'll tell you what, John. I was half tempted to call Gary over the phone while the draft was happening for game 3 to tell him not to let Mushi draft this time. I was going to call him. It's like, don't let him do it. Don't let him do it.
You know, they can't help themselves, man, sometimes. You know, it is what it is, and now you're going to lose high ground off the back of one bad team fight. Really great confidence from Matt. The moment that smoke pops, instantly right on top, gets the stun, and opens up the match. And then again, the team fight here for Boom. It's not amazing. It's chaotic offering, back wall. That's it. You want pickoffs first. Simplify the process, but Nemesis aren't giving you openings. And now the mid-racks just faults like that. Akashi being cheeky, trying to cut some creep waves to ensure a tier 2 take afterwards. But you can see the hecticness in the pinks. They know that this objective will start to open the game up a little bit more. It will just be the melee racks, but that's the important one anyhow, and Roshan is back up. So there you go, another objective that you can instantly collapse on for the side of Nemesis. I mean, there's no EXO. There's no chaotic offering. Wall will be up soon. That is a little bit of a blessing here. But not going to be enough without that combination. And Roche does not take long when you've got a Slaughterer with Corrosive Haze.
They're coming. Scan is out. Eris is going to see them coming though. And look at this, Mac. He wants the fight. Tim's immediately into a snowball and a shards out because he knows he's probably just dead. The chase continues now. Arrow narrowly avoiding Armel, but the X is going to connect here from our Conqueror as he will use up to try and survive. But surely someone coming in to help Armel because Akashi's just rushing in on his own. Here comes Tim's with the buyback, but that's an immediate dieback now on the Tusk. And there goes Jabs on the Darkseer. Jackie's now jumped in on the Tiny. He's going to try, but I think it's a bit too late. Triple kill for Mac. And this team fight is well and truly over. Hell, the game might be over here, John. They'll take down Armel. They'll probably find an Ultra for Mac, and they do. There's no buybacks, and quite frankly, I think Boom need to call. I think Boom should call.
Yeah, I mean, again, if they don't have their spells, EXO is down. They will have chaotic offering on the respawn. This is not a slow push. I mean, it's not as fast as it could be, but the T4s aren't going to last too long. They will pop the fort, but they can just go back and clear up the range racks. And Nemesis, what do you have to care about, right? Like, they respawn, yeah, no EXO, chaotic offerings there, sure. It's not going to be enough on its own.
I mean,
maybe a toss
maybe
back
this
from
is
Jackie.
the opening. Maybe this is the opening. Into the tier 4 towers, maybe they can fight. I doubt it, but it's worth a shot. Column drop. They're just trying to buy time for Jackie and the rest of the crew to be back up. Ancient's still going down. And Nemesis, they have decided they're going to play it safe. Just cutting a little bit too close here with the Ancient. They'll leave it exposed. Boom will not call it. They will still have 2 Raxes up, so definitely still in the game. But now they've found themselves 25k behind. And I'll tell you what, the one thing Oh, here we go.
Oh my god.
Mel, Snowball's going to buy him a bit of time. How long, though, is the question, Jonathan? And the answer is probably not very long as he gets stunned up. Jabs trying to save with the vacuum. Mel is down. No buyback once again, and GG's called. He's seen enough.
Oh. Yeah. I mean, what did you say as a draft?
You break it down, John. You...